What's going on, everyone? Grab your drinks, grab your ice cream sandwiches. It's the Class vs. Crass Nintendo podcast. I'm your host, Jason Lapine, and joining me as usual, my partner, Shawn Long. How you doing?
Hello, hello.
What are you doing a face on my ice cream sandwiches? You don't eat
Uh,
that in your part of town?
No, I mean we do. It's just a random ass thing to say. Grab your drink, grab your ice cream sandwiches. Like what the fuck?
It's how we do it in Canada.
Okay.
And speaking of Canada, our special guest tonight, Izzy Nobre, joining us. Did I pronounce that right?
Pretty much. Hey guys, great to be here. Been trying to get this to happen for a while, but scheduling. Right.
Luck.
Oh, sorry, just a moment. I'm getting some feedback here from the actual the live stream. But yeah, like I was saying, been trying to join you guys forever on this, and scheduling never quite worked. And finally today I'm here. It's great to be here.
It was great. We had your thumbnail made, so we could just kind of swap you in whenever it was convenient for
Holy
you.
crap, that's awesome.
I
That's
don't.
next level preparedness. I like that.
You were on standby. So
Yeah, right on.
I forgot to introduce you as Izzy, the man with the number one gaming podcast in Brazil. Is that correct?
Yes, yes, it is. We're like I was saying just before we started, we I started a podcast with a buddy, and both because we just really enjoyed old school gaming, both consoles, handheld, PCs, all that stuff, and I guess it really resonated with a lot of people. And one thing led to another, and before we know it, is like top of the iTunes charts and became kind of like a business, if you will. So it's really cool.
So what's it called for anyone here who might speak Portuguese and wants to listen in?
So it's called in Portuguese, my native Portuguese, it's called 99 Vidas, which means 99 lives. So a throwback to like whenever we get those gaming magazines with all the tricks and tips and all that stuff. And there's always like, oh, type this up to get 99 lives on this game or that game. So when we're kind of bouncing ideas back and forth for the name, we're like, how about 99 lives? It's a thing that, a lot of games had, and people instantly will remember, if you're in that demographic, 99 lives, you'll right away think, oh, you're going to connect with those old school games. So that's what we went with.
Nice. And now, Izzy, I'm sorry I'm putting you on the spot a lot here, but I just want people to get to know you. You have two YouTube channels, if I recall, right?
Yes, that's right, Jason. So I have a Portuguese one, and that's the one that basically pays the bills. Started on YouTube a long time ago when this thing kind of got started back in like some 2008 or 2007, and then recently I started an English channel because I kind of I miss, like, I have a lot of friends that are content producers, but they're all some 10,000 kilometers away from me. So I don't get to network. I don't get to actually do business. I don't get to meet the people who enjoy the things that I do and say on the internet. So I decided to make an English one, make some English content, and that's where we are now. I have both two channels, so I'm twice as busy now.
Nice. And are you doing that full time?
Well, kind of, because I have an actual quote unquote real job that is full time, and then I'm also like writing on my website and recording podcasts and shooting videos in two languages. So yeah, I guess it's like double full time.
Right, the life of the YouTuber.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
All right, so you're in the chat, I see. So if anybody clicks on your name, I'll take them to your English channel.
Yes, if they click on my name there, that'll take me. That'll take them to my English channel. It's called the Izzy Nobre Show. Very original, I know.
All right, awesome. Okay, well now we're gonna get started. So for anyone who's new to the Class vs. Crass Nintendo podcast, we have a format where we are an organized podcast here. So we usually go over what have you been playing, where we share what we've been playing over the past week in the Nintendo world. Then we go over the major headlines, and there's actually a really fun one that just came in today or yesterday. We didn't cover on Nintendo and 90. That one's going to be fun to talk about. More rumors. Hey, you can never get enough NX rumors. Then we're getting into Sean's already disapproving. That's going to be a fun one to talk about.
I'm gonna rip it apart.
You do that. And then we get into the Nintendo Fan Showcase where we feature a Nintendo fan in the community. And finally, we go to the lightning round, which is we take your questions and topics at the end. And since we have a guest, I encourage you guys to pummel Izzy with lots of questions, get to know him, make him your best friend, and of course, head over to and check out his content.
Yes.
So without any further ado, Shawn, what have you been playing last week?
This,
What's that?
it only this. Twilight Princess HD.
I'm quite jealous of you.
You should be.
I never got
You
one.
should be. Oh, oh. Let me introduce you to the Wolf Lake Amiibo. There he is,
Oh, that's
hanging out.
nice. That's pretty
It's
nice.
really heavy too. Like I feel like if someone tried to rob me, I could beat him in the head with it and knock him out. It's probably the heaviest. I mean, granted, I don't have many amiibo, but it's probably the heaviest amiibo I have in my collection. Really nice detail. I really like the hair here.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I've just been playing Twilight Princess
Don't lie.
HD.
You've been playing something else that's kind of big.
The Mega Man?
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about Mega Man. Yeah, I was playing Mega Man 2, the Mega Man Legacy Collection for the 3DS, which I did a review on. And I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good, and I'm actually supposed to be playing another game that I will start um, once I'm done with Twilight Princess's whatchamacallit, the review, which I'm actually in the process of typing up tonight. And yeah, that Procloporus weird ass RPG game. I gotta find it. I
Oh, the
hid it from
Moo Farm
myself.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know where I put it, but I'm sure I will find it, and I
God
will
damn
play
it,
it.
man.
Nah, dude, I'll find the
That's
shit.
our
I
review
mean,
copy. Don't lose
that's
our
my
review
review.
copy. Ours as an enthusiast organization. Um, what was Mega Man like for anyone who doesn't want to read your review at in a quick glance?
So Mega Man basically is Mega Man 1 through 6, put on the 3DS. While I appreciated that because you got to remember Virtual Console releases for the NES, I believe, are $5 a piece in North America, and we got the digital one, which was only a $15 thing. The benefits of getting the physical releases, you get some additional challenges and extra content. If you get the amiibo, you get more additional stuff in it. But I really liked it because I love the museum aspect of it. There is box art that you can zoom in on for every game, instruction manuals, including like the Rockman version, which is the Japanese version,
Right.
promotional materials, posters, character art. There's so much shit. It's just amazing. And yes, I was one of the bigger pundits of when it was initially announced that I was like, yeah, this is kind of bullshit. They did a GameCube version and a PS2 version, which had way more games on it. But I'm still kind of in that boat because I feel that if you get it on the PS4 or Xbox One, it's a waste of money because, like I said, there's a GameCube version and there is a whatchamacallit, PS2 version. But the 3DS version has the additional benefit of being a handheld, so you can take it with you and you save states and whatnot. And to me, the 3DS version is probably the best version, just because of the portability of it.
Great.
I'm a
Well,
big fan of portability too, so I know exactly. I'm on the same page as you.
Yeah, like it just really adds. It really adds to the game for me.
I just realized listening to you chat there, I don't even think I picked up anything in the past week. I don't think I've played anything, which is kind of a shocker all
Really?
of a sudden. Yeah, it's terrible.
What was the last thing you played then?
Well, the last thing I was playing 2 weeks ago was Mario and Luigi Paper Jam. I was putting in more hours than that because I had just reviewed Fire Emblem Fates Birthright. So I put in 20 hours into that, and then I don't know, I was in a mood for like more RPGs. So Mario and Luigi is just Paper Jam is gold. I love it. It just keeps getting better the more you play it. They actually, I don't know if this is a spoiler. Something iconic gets destroyed for once, which is, have you guys played it?
What are you talking
No.
about? I wasn't listening.
Paper Jam.
Oh yeah,
I know
yeah.
you reviewed it, but Izzy, have you had the chance to pick it up?
Not yet. I
No.
haven't picked up a game in a while. Like I'm buying a game in a while. Not a Nintendo game anyway. But yeah, so no, I haven't played it.
So what have you been playing recently?
I have been replaying a game that I love. It's very close to my heart, but I'm not very good at Advance Wars, which I just resent the fact that Intelligent Systems has completely forgotten about Advance Wars, the franchise. Right? We got two Fire Emblems for the 3DS, but still no Advanced Wars inside. I've always loved the series. Like I said, I'm not very good at it. I was playing the GBA like 1 and 2. I kind of bounced back and forth between the two. Played the DS one a little bit. I forget Dual Strike and I forget the second one, the one that had a shift in tone that people didn't like so much. What was that one called? The second one for the DS.
I've
Um,
never. Yeah,
Black
What-
Hole, Black Hole Sun or whatever. No, Black Hole Sun is
uh,
a song by
Black
no.
Hole Soundgarden.
It's
Black Dawn
it's
or something like that.
no. Wait. I gotta find this. Wait a second. Advance Wars DS. It's something. Days of Ruin. I have no idea where I got Black Hole Sun from. Days of Ruin
Sound-
is what it's called. And love the game, love the gameplay. I'm not as big a fan as Fire Emblem because I like the military aspect. I'm not too much of like a JRPG slash like high fantasy kind of stuff.
Don't like petting the faces? It's not your
What's
thing.
that?
You don't like petting the faces? That's not your
No, I
thing.
like tanks and guns. You know what I mean? Like I like military stuff. The fantasy stuff, I'm not a super huge fan of, but I love the gameplay. So I've been trying to get into. I actually picked up the last thing I picked up, last console I picked up. I got a second 3DS because the guy was selling it with a copy of Fire Emblem and Smash Brothers for a really really amazing price. And even though I already have a 3DS, and I'm not a huge fan of either of those games, I'm like, I gotta pick this up.
Just such a good deal.
So I've been trying. Yeah, it's just such a good. It's one of those things like I can't pass this up. Even if I were to sell just like all of those three things, like the 3DS and those two games, 3DS XL, by the way, not even an old one. It was like a 3DS XL. I figured if I were to sell them each for whatever they're worth, I would at least break even and still get to play the game for a little bit. So I was like, I can't lose money on this. Had to pick it up. Somebody actually sent it on the chat. I see here, Advance Wars Days of Ruin. While I was thinking it was called Black Hole Sun for some crazy reason.
That's a
Ruinful.
Soundgarden song.
Yeah, it's a Soundgarden song. Somebody mentioned that in the chat. A few people mentioned it. But yeah, that's what I've been playing. Like I said, love that gameplay. I just love that tactical gameplay. Not particularly good at, never beat those games, but I can't help. I think the replay value of those games is insane. You can play those games forever.
So I've never actually dabbled into the Advance Wars
What?
IP. I know. There's so many IPs I'm missing because I was too busy with all of this other stuff. But
Dude.
like Fire Emblem, I just actually entered the Fire Emblem franchise with Fire Emblem Fates, which I enjoyed quite a bit. So Izzy, being someone, well, I guess both of you have dabbled in both franchises. What are the main differences other than is one just more military or
It's more Advance Wars is more military, right? So it's more like it's very Japanese in that it's kind of like a cartoon. It's not like a realistic war, right? It's more like a kind of like it plays very much like an anime, right? Like with the way the dialogue and the back and forth and some of the tropes and the themes are very similar. I think one of the main differences is that in Fire Emblem, I think this has always been a staple of the series. When you lose a character, I mean, there's a setting to turn this off, but I think by default you lose a character, it's dead for the rest of the game.
well, that's the same with
And
Fire
then
Emblem.
no, that's what I mean.
Oh yeah,
That's what I'm
okay.
talking about. I'm talking about Fire Emblem. That's not you don't have characters like that because in Fire Emblem you're playing specific guys, specific characters in the story.
Mhm.
Whereas in Advance Wars, you're actually like you have resources and you have little factories and you make your little guns and your little guys and your tanks and your planes and whatever. So they're just units, like in a real time strategy game. So if you lose a tank, it's just a tank, right? If you lose one of the ships, it's fine. You make another one. So that's one. I think those are the two main differences. It's the theme because one is more medieval and it's a little. Both are very JRPG-y, but one is more medieval, the other is more contemporary. And the fact that if you lose a character, all the units you have in the game, they all have their role in the story. And if you lose them, you lose them. Whereas in Advanced Wars, more like a real time strategy game where you just keep building guys.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'll definitely have to get into that. All right, so now let's get into. So have you played any of the more recent stuff coming out on the Wii U or on the 3DS, Izzy? Or have you not had the chance?
Sorry, I didn't hear the last part there.
So out of the more recent Wii U titles and 3DS, let's say the stuff that came out in the last 6 months, have you had a chance at all to dabble in the more recent stuff?
I haven't. I barely played on the Wii U, and I haven't bought a 3DS game in a while. I was debating picking up Red, Blue, and Yellow on the 3DS, but the thing is, I've had so many different Pokemons over the years, and there's a thing that's been the guys in the chat will back me up on this. It's been kind of like a running gag because I've never beaten. I'm a huge Pokemon fan. I have a Pokemon tattoo on my arm. I've played all of them. I own almost all of them, and I never beat a single one because I have it's very difficult for me to stay with a story and see a game through the end. So I was like, maybe I should pick this one up. Like, I have to have it. It's another Pokemon title. And then everybody on Twitter was like, why? So another Pokemon game you're not gonna beat. So I'm like, well, shit. I guess you gotta kind of have a point. So I've been kind of like on the fence. So yeah, that was going to be my next 3DS purchase. I guess my last one was the system with Smash Brothers and Fire Emblem Awakening. That's the last games that I bought. So about maybe a month ago.
All right, you're actually giving me a great segue to get into the Pokemon news. Have you actually
Very good.
had the chance to look at the Pokemon Direct that landed last Friday?
No, I haven't seen it, but I saw most of the highlights because of Twitter. Like I follow a lot of people who are into
There,
gaming,
there
and
was one
it,
highlight pretty much, so don't worry.
I see that I saw like kind of like the screenshots and like all the jokes that people were making. Some comparison with Digimon were made, but no, I didn't go into detail. No,
Okay, well, I mean, it was a 5-minute direct. I don't know if you knew that.
no, I didn't know that. I didn't know
Yeah, so it
that.
was
People were
very,
complaining about that.
yeah, it was pretty much just a celebration of the 20 years, a lot of nostalgia showing the Pokemon franchises through the year. And then it's like, boom, new Pokemon game, Sun and Moon. It's going to come out in a bunch of languages on initial release, which is great. More people getting into the game right away. And then they talked about Red, Blue, Yellow, and how you can actually transfer your Pokemon from those games to the new franchise when it comes out later this year around the holiday season. So there you go. I just recapped the Pokemon Direct for you in about 20 seconds.
Then I guess I did know all of the main points. Then that is really cool from a technological standpoint that they make the old game be able to transfer the Pokemon to the new stuff. I appreciate that. I wish they had done this a little bit sooner. I think this is kind of late for them to put out a game that's 20 years old at this point. How much are they? Like $15, I think.
The Red, Blue, Yellow?
Yeah,
I'm not sure on the price actually.
I
Sean, do
think
you
it's
know?
$15. I might
In
be.
Canada, right? 15 in Canada is what you're.
Pretty sure. Sean, what is it in the States? Let's
I'd
do some
imagine. I
quick
think it was
googling here.
$10 in the States.
$10.
$10 is more doable. 15 for me for a game that's 20 years old. I
Could see.
was that's why I was on the fence because for me, it's buying a Pokemon game is like just kind of an automatic reflex when it comes out. I see it, I pick it up. But for $15 for a game that's that old that I have on my Game Boy, it was a little bit hard to justify.
Yeah, for sure. No, 15 does feel. What if it was 10 though? Like if we had equality with the American dollar.
Oh, $10, I'll pick it up for sure.
Okay, so it's really
It's
just
it's
up.
it's a little. Oh yeah, definitely. It's a little bit high for a game that old,
Hmm.
right? For like a Game Boy game that's that old. But for Pokemon, I would like it's $10. That's fine. I can even get to to see a movie for $10.
True.
But 15 just pushes it from like it's high but reasonable to like it's difficult to justify when I actually already have those cartridges like sitting on my display case right here.
Right. No, I agree with you. I wouldn't be picking it up either. Sean, you picking it up?
Yeah, I got it for free.
Oh, of course.
What?
He gets everything. He anyway. Um so any of you guys excited about the new Pokemon Sun and Moon?
No,
Do you care?
they need to do something different. They need to. They
Like
need
a
to.
Pokemon FPS?
Not
Maybe
necessarily.
not that deep.
They need to just
I'd
upgrade
buy
it.
that.
Like it's still to me, the games still feel like GBA titles and DS titles. Like they need to take the next step, and I don't necessarily know what step that is. It could be improved graphics, more intricate gameplay, but they really need to take the next step because I'm not going to say a lot of people are bored with it, but I just feel like the mainline Pokemon games have gotten stagnant and the littlest addition makes everyone go crazy. It's like, oh, this is so great now. But I mean, it's really not. Like these are just, little tweaks. They really need to just go about and just really just go back to the drawing board with it. Like make it something special. Make it just feels the franchise feels very stagnant to me. Like I could pick up a any Pokemon game of the last 10 years and it'll feel exactly the same, and that's not necessarily a good thing.
But wouldn't you
That's
say,
true.
couldn't you argue that if you look at the past 20 years, that's exactly what people want? The games are selling well, iteration after iteration.
I don't know if that's what they want. I just think that that's what they're getting, so that's what they accept.
I don't know though. Like if you were a big fan of Mario and they're always like, "Here's a 2D Mario, here's a 2D Mario," you're gonna stop buying the game because you're like, "Okay, I got enough of this." And
No.
we were even seeing that. People were complaining about Mario fatigue a few years ago. And then like, here's
Yeah,
Mario
but they
Maker,
still
make all
bought
your
them.
levels.
They still bought them.
Did it sell as well though?
Yes.
I don't
So
know.
we are part of a problem, basically. We're part of the problem,
We are. I mean,
if not the entire problem.
it's like that with a lot of franchises, but uh, to me, at least, a Mario. Take Mario for example. They've done 3D versions. They've done hybrid 2D 3D versions. Zelda, they've gone different art styles, different worlds, different top down perspectives, and traditional 3D ones. Pokemon has stayed the same though.
Well,
It never.
you got your little smartphone variants, and you got your Coliseum versions, and your Pokemon Snaps, and your
I'm
Pokken
talking about
tournaments.
mainline
But
ones. I'm
that
talking about
stuff.
mainline ones, Jason.
But even that stuff has kind of dried out, right? Because like a Pokemon Snap, but when was the last Pokemon Stadium? I haven't heard.
Yeah, GameCube.
I think it was
Yeah,
a
see, that's what I'm
GameCube.
talking about. It kind of went away. What about Pokemon Snap?
Well,
One
that
and
never
done.
grew. Yeah.
Exactly, never went to. So even when they branched out into like new stuff, and it was pretty successful. Like people like those games, and it's near and dear
Oh
to a
well.
lot of people's hearts.
n-
But they just kind of gave up. Like I think the most they do nowadays in regards to spinning off the franchise is like your match 3 cell phone games, like your little Pokemon puzzlers. Like that's all they're doing, and these mainline like the big actual titles. But I think it would have been nice to see something done more with the franchise that is not, if they're not going to touch their tried and true formula, they're going to keep, because like Shawn was saying, you pick up like Pokemon Blue on the Game Boy and you pick up Pokemon X or Y, and while there's obviously very clear differences in the graphics, and there's a lot more little features, little more things that you can do, but the main gameplay is basically the same. You're running around, bumping into people you haven't bumped into before, fighting until they collapse, going to the Pokemon Center. The core experience has not changed at all. There hasn't been, like, obviously there's a lot new that keeps
Go to the
that's
gyms.
interesting. Going to the gyms, it's very much the exact same thing. So if they're not going to touch that, I would at least like to see them doing more stuff like they did back then. Like even things that like were very, when we look back, didn't make a whole lot of sense. Remember, there's a game called, what was it? What's Up Pikachu or something like that.
Yep. Yep. I was
Yeah.
gonna mention that.
My wife yelled the name. What is it called, Rebecca? Hey, my
Hey,
wife
you
is yelling it.
Pikachu.
Hey, you Pikachu from the bedroom. Hey, you Pikachu, right? Like that really didn't go anywhere. But that was interesting. They're trying something new. They were pushing the technology forward. I remember it came with a little microphone for the N64. My wife was like, "I love that shit." But now, like, when have they tried something like
Well, now
that?
you
Like
got
recently?
Detective. Now you got Detective Pikachu on the way. That's what we're getting.
With Danny DeVito voicing it? Was that what the internet was trying to get to happen?
Well, that's what people
Yes.
want.
I
After
was like,
that
that's changed.
after that podcast with Rerez, I almost want him to voice it. We had a little bit of fun with Detective Pikachu a few weeks back in here.
I mean, the main thing is this. Mainline Mario games have had variants. Mainline Zelda games have had variants. Mainline Metroid games have had variants in the gameplay, in the graphical style, in everything. Whereas Pokemon has not. It is time for Pokemon to evolve. I'm so punny.
Oh, the pun.
But yeah, it's getting stagnant as shit.
It is. Like I wish I could get excited for Moon and Sun, but I'm like, oh, they're gonna throw in some more Pokemon. It's gonna be a new territory. You're probably gonna get an evil alliance of the Moon versus the Daylight Clan, and you're gonna go around fighting gym leaders, overthrowing this evil organization,
Have
and
they announced what the third? Because they always put out two games and then a third one. Have they announced what that one is going to be yet? Because it's always going to be Eclipse, right? I'm guessing
oh yeah, that makes sense. No, they didn't announce it, but X and Y still hasn't gotten.
it hasn't got
Or,
one. I thought it did.
no,
Nope.
like people are like,
Have they
oh
given up
Z.
with that practice then?
They took it over to Fire Emblem is what they did.
Oh,
Yeah.
But
oh
yeah,
man.
no, we haven't seen because X and Y is kind of old now. It's what is it, 2 years,
Yeah. No,
About
maybe
that,
more.
yeah.
2 or 3
I
years?
really gotta get back into it now that I think about it. I didn't appreciate that game as much as I should have, or Diamond Pearl for that matter. I didn't play that as much as I could either.
I heard that wasn't so great.
I liked it, man. Like that was the last one that I really could dig into because my wife, I have a couple of DSs, right?
Hmm.
So I was playing with my wife a while back. She kind of abandoned me. She kind of got a little bit bored, but it's a lot more fun to be playing with somebody that you can be like comparing your progress and like actually battling together and exchanging Pokemon and all that stuff. That is the Pokemon experience, right? That might be why I haven't gotten into them as I did before because I don't like the online aspect of Pokemon so much as I thought I would. I prefer the like face to face. Let's take a look at this kind of thing,
Hmm.
and because I don't really have friends that play, say for my wife, we're kind of abandon the journey.
She
That might be why I
she
kind of,
couldn't be the very best, could she?
no, she could not be the
She
very
gave it.
best. I
That's a
hope
ve-
she heard that.
that's a crying shame. Uh-oh. That was Shawn Long saying that, by the way.
No,
So
It's got repetitive. It's got repetitive, man.
it does get
What do
repetitive.
you think she was the
I
shit?
just got into Alpha, is Alpha or Omega Sapphire? I don't know, one of them. And yeah, it was fun at first. Oh, cool, new graphics. And I was like, okay, this is the same as what I left off at Gold and Silver.
Yep.
All right, so next headline. That's enough Pokemon for now. Um, you know what? I thought this had a lot of meat. So just today or yesterday, we got some new NX rumors. Isn't this always fun to talk about? Um, the source is from Gino, who apparently guessed Pokemon X and Y using full 3D engine correctly. He
Okay.
he also nailed the PS4's engine capabilities. And I'm just reading off, so sorry if I'm a little monotone here. So the new rumors are the Nintendo NX will have a wireless HDMI dongle that attaches flush to the back of the device, which can be connected to an HDMI output. Cool, but nothing mind exploding. The analog controls are going to have haptic feedback for simulating running headfirst into walls or firing guns. That's kind of cool,
Okay.
but nothing big. It can literally Bluetooth sync to everything so that you could get calls and text messages through your NX console or whatever it is.
That I'm kind of,
That's that's kind of cool.
it's
Um,
cool technologically, but I'm like, are you really going to be doing that?
Picking up your calls while you're in Xenoblade, it's like, boop, mom's calling, pick up. I don't know. In terms of power, there's a little bit more info. It's going to be basically like an Xbox One. We've heard this before, but they're saying that the way the software is going to work, they're basically going to be able to emulate any game developed for the PS4, Xbox One with very minimal effort to port them over. So if that's true, that's good. And they say especially if it's running on Android OS or Unreal Engine 4. The social features of the Nintendo NX is going to be very similar to Pokemon Go's, which doesn't tell us anything because we don't know what Pokemon Go's social features are. Visually and functionally, the Nintendo NX is described by devs as if Samsung and the Nintendo 2DS had a baby.
Let me think about this. Okay, a Samsung cell phone, I'm assuming.
I guess so. It just says Samsung here, so I don't know if.
Okay, okay, okay.
And I'm just building up Shawn too. You can see the temperature. I got two more to go. Actually, I got one more. And the Nintendo NX will run on Nintendo S, which is very similar to Android, but aims to create an ecosystem much like Windows 10. So the Nintendo S.
Mm,
So Shawn, let's have it. I can see it in your eyes. There's a twinkle.
no, because I'm gonna let you two talk about the rumors, and then when you're done, I'm gonna say my piece.
Oh
So
man, you're gonna give
you
blue
two
balls
hash it
to
out.
everyone in the comments.
No, it's the way it
they
needs to
were
be.
expecting. They were. I saw here. They're like, oh, here's a rent coming. I can see it. It's coming.
All right. So any of that? Have you been familiar with any of the NX rumors at all? Is either there's like a new one every week.
I've kind of been I've been hearing the major ones, and I understand that's going to be like has this still been like kind of the last I remember not the last the first time I heard about the NX, it was a whole about like there's going to be kind of a hybrid between an actual table console and a portable, much in the way that people thought the Wii U was going to be with that with the gamepad. Is that still kind of like the going theory here?
Uh, there's a
It
few
depends.
theories
It
going
depends
on.
what week. It depends what week it is, and how the sun aligns with the moon, and
Oh,
where the stars align with the planets.
What's the sure money right now?
There is
there's
none.
no sure money on anything.
Wow. So all bets
Other
are
than Nintendo's releasing a console. That's all we
at
know.
some point.
At some point. We don't even have a deadline or timeline.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I've been hearing a lot of stuff here and there, and because it's been kind of like vapory, you know what I mean? There's no substance to a lot of these things. You're giving the guy a rap sheet, and apparently he's been right on a lot of things. So I'm kind of this seems the most solid that I've heard so far about the NX. But I don't know because I bought the Wii like everybody else did, and I was kind of like underwhelmed. The Wii U I kind of skipped. This one I'm like I think Nintendo has lost a hardcore gamer demographic a long time ago, and I'm not even sure if this is something they even want to regain again. So it's I don't know DNX. I don't even know what to expect
I,
from this.
I expect a very different play here. The Wii U saw the casual audience. The Wii U was shunned by so many people, which you really should give it a second chance because it has some awesome games on there.
Oh, I
Um,
want to buy it just if I buy it just for Super Mario Maker alone, I think I'll get my money's worth. I got into a lot of expensive hobbies right now, so the Wii U is gonna have to wait. But I will have Super Mario Maker. Like that's a certainty.
I'll toss you 5, 6 more titles. Although you have the 3DS, so you're gonna get Hyrule's Warrior soon enough. So that's
Oh,
good.
there we go.
That's one of my
Four.
favorites on the Wii
So
U.
4 titles.
Yeah, you gotta try Splatoon
Oh yeah, Splatoon, yes, for sure.
and Yoshi's Woolly
Didn't know
World is
that.
adorable, but it's a 2D platformer. So
No,
yeah,
I love 2D platforms. My wife is crazy about. She wanted to get the amiibo even though she like never played the game. She just saw the videos and she's like, "Oh, that's adorable." Every time we go to like a Toys R Us or whatever, and she's like, "Oh my god, look, it's like woolly and stuff." But yeah, no, I guess that those three at least. That's three decent games. How much is the Wii U right now? Maybe I should pick one up.
you can actually get one with Smash Brothers and Splatoon for like $300 Canadian. So that's like
Really?
$2 American. Um,
Huh.
yeah, so for the, I don't know, for the NX, yeah, it's going to be way different because Nintendo's getting into the mobile market, and they're not just doing
Right.
it on the cheap.
Finally.
They're not just doing it on the cheap where it's like, here's Mario and Zelda rehashed for touchscreen. No, they're going at it with unique apps. They've already announced Mitomo, which is releasing next month. The NX, they've obviously learned their mistakes from the Wii and Wii U, and the NX now they're
You
going.
would think.
Well, that's what they're saying. They're saying the NX will actually. This is actually something from their CEO that the NX will be a step away from the Wii and the Wii U.
Okay, but in what sense?
That's
Exactly.
left to your interpretation.
Because it sounds to me like, hey, we know they didn't like it. Let's say it's gonna be different, and then we'll figure out the details later. Let's just tell them it's gonna be different. How
I
about
guess
it?
so. Because when the Wii U came out, they were also saying, "Oh, the Wii U is going to be for the hardcore audience. We want the hardcore audience."
Oh, I remember that. Haha.
So, but I
Remember
think
it
they're
came out. I think it was like a Batman Dark Arkham Asylum some 2 years after the game came out on PS3 and Xbox, and I'm like,
what's that?
When the Wii U came out, they put out a few like remasters of
Oh
some
yeah,
like
Mass Effect,
previous.
Assassin's Creed.
Exactly. And I'm like, that's what you're like, this is your idea of what the hardcore gamer wants, like games that they played on other consoles that they already owned 2 years ago. Like,
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was better than
Well,
nothing to launch with, but it
oh,
didn't follow
definitely.
up with anything.
the Wii U version of Arkham City was the best by far.
And I will
Oh,
argue
for
that
sure. It was
Assassin's Creed 4 was also the best on the Wii U. I will argue.
there's those experiences that there's a few things that worked with the Wii U. It's just that anybody that wanted to play those games likely by then had already played them. And yeah, the interaction with like the gamepad and like the extra screen, that is very interesting. Like I enjoy the technology of it for sure. I enjoy the trying to make things new, but using those titles might not have been the absolute best idea, even though the experience worked. It was just like it was one of those cases of too little too late. You know what I mean? Like I'm not going to drop that much money to replay that game just because there's a few more bells and whistles kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And then
totally.
didn't follow up with anything. So
Well, it was followed up by a very embarrassing drought, if you remember, after the Wii U. They had the Rayman Legends, which was supposed to be one of their big openers. Pff, that got destroyed, and then it was just like 5, 6 months with no games. It was a terrible time to be a Wii U
yeah.
owner. All right, Sean, did we talk enough about these rumors
I think so.
to get your opinion on it?
I think so.
Okay, I actually think that these are the most legit rumors we've gotten in a while. Like, who's gonna come out and say, "Oh yeah, I think it sounds a little bit like Pokemon
Okay,
Go's
shut up.
social interaction." Like,
Shut up.
that's
First off, don't steal Shane's voice. You want me to go? I'm gonna go. First off, who the fuck is Gino? Who the fuck is Gino?
comes from
I've never
Star.
heard of Gino. I've been doing this for quite a while. I have no idea who Gino is. Let's
I'm
look at the
googling it.
website that broke this rumor. Dualpixels.com. Who the fuck is Dualpixels.com? Why, of all the websites in the world, would a website with an Alexa rating, which is what basically is determines your traffic and your input and what communities you're in, have a 900,000 ranking in Alexa? God, they can't just be trying to get some hits, could they? It's all bullshit, man. This is a made-up rumor from a made-up website with no relevance in the gaming community. If you're a member of the Dual Pixels community and you're watching this, I'm sorry, but I'm calling your bluff. I'm calling your bluff because I've never heard of you. And I probably would have heard of you for as long as I've been doing this if there was any credence to this rumor. You could say Gino told you this. You could say that Izzy told you this. You could say that Mario told you this. I don't
My
care.
uncle who works at Nintendo told me this. Hey, they have 5,000 likes on Facebook. It's not a whole lot, and it doesn't look like they've been doing this for so long. So maybe Shawn is onto something here.
I mean, I'm literally looking at the story, and this is a website that posts 1 to 2 things a day, if that, and they're a multi-platform website. We're a Nintendo-only website, and you get at least a minimum of 6 to 7 stories. If you combined all of Nintendo or all of Enthusiast Gaming's sites together, which would be multi-platform, you're looking at probably 30 to 40 stories. So why would a website with little relevance in the gaming community, with little content in the gaming community, get this exclusive from Gino? Like, get the fuck out of here, dude. I'm sorry. I'm calling bullshit. And honestly, I saw this rumor last night, and I could have ran it, and I didn't. The only reason we ran it on the site was because other Nintendo websites were running it, and pretty much I could be like, oh, well, they ran it, so, let them take the fall. They did it first. We're just reporting the rumor. But I think it's total bullshit. I mean, looking at their stuff, new Shenmue screens, a new trailer, like this takes literally 5 minutes to post on your website. But now all of a sudden they're getting this huge exclusive thing. It's bullshit. Bullshit. It's bullshit.
I thought they had a source, but no, they literally are. Like that's as far back as you can trace these rumors.
They are the source. They are the source of the rumors. They say the source, Gino, that told you Nintendo will release a Pokemon game. Who the fuck is Gino?
He lives up on the Star Road or whatever.
Like, come on, dude.
Gotta believe in the puppet, man.
I don't know who Gino is. I don't care who Gino is. If Gino is a real person, I doubt Gino said this. So take it as you will.
Do we not even have a last name for this Gino person?
Not even.
The fuck? Oh, wow.
All you have is the source Gino. That's
Do we
crazy.
know? Didn't even bother with a last name?
No, and it's not even like the source is not even quoting anything. It's just direct like a write-up on the site.
I'm seeing it here. Yeah, I'm looking at it up here, and yeah, it got 184 comments. So obviously people had some things to say about this.
Well,
but
you put NX in anything, and people will have
I
comments.
guess. Yeah, as far as there's like some render here that looks kind of silly for what the gamepad is supposed to look like. And yeah, like you're saying, there's no links, there's nothing, not even a last name. Like Shawn was saying, these guys came out of nowhere. They obviously are not super insiders. They're not the kind of people that you would expect to have inside information. 5,000 likes on Facebook, that should tell you that it's not like they're
you know how many followers they have on Twitter? 193. You know how many subscribers they have on YouTube? 259. Okay, not to be the guy who says, "Oh, well, that's fucking small," but that's small. That's small, especially when you're a website.
When Shawn calls you small, you're small.
I mean, come on, guys. Come on,
guys. Long man.
Yeah, I think I'm siding with Shawn here. I mean, I want to sink my teeth into something a little bit more substantial, but this is very wishy-washy. This is
the source is wishy-washy, but the rumor itself is really pulling it out of here. Like linking things that aren't even released, I don't know. Like whoever put it together, they're creative. I'm gonna give them that. They're creative.
Wow, they're creative. Good job, Pixels.
I love that Gino. This whole time, I didn't even know the guy didn't even have a last name.
I like how I
my
make
boy Gino. Okay, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Gino and Dual Pixels is my new friend this week.
It's like this is like my uncle who works at Nintendo level of like unconfirmed story. You know what I mean? Like inside information.
We gotta get friends with Gino, man. He's got all the hookups.
At least the uncle happened to work at Nintendo. This guy, who is this guy? It didn't even say, like, it's just like our source, Gino. It's not like some investor, somebody who sits the board, like nothing. Just like this guy.
Random guy.
Random dude.
Well, okay. I didn't even go back into the source before I brought this up. I'm sorry. We don't need to spend more time on this. It was fun to see you explode on Gino, though. I don't regret it.
It's fine. I didn't tell you anything about it because that's what I wanted to do.
You wanted to explode. Look at that.
I did.
All right. Well, let's get into something a little bit more substantial. EA and Nintendo are apparently getting friendly again.
This is coming from Tamaki, right?
Oh, I have to source that too. I didn't put the source in
I'm
my
pretty
notes.
sure. I'm pretty sure this is coming from Tamaki.
Is that Gino again? Is it?
No,
It's
this
not.
is Tamaki,
Okay.
who's a part of
Okay.
Unseen64.net. Who's I've worked with him. I've talked with him. He was the one who did the whole discovery about the Devil's Third situation, which ended up being spot on true. So Tamaki has a great track record. I trust him. And yes, the rumor circulating is that
Oh, that's a rumor
basically
too. Oh, great.
everything is a rumor. If the NX is involved, it's a rumor. Um, but you can only say nice things about it, or else you'll get death threats. Basically, that EA and Nintendo are trying to work together. EA wants to bring their sports titles to the Nintendo NX, but they want some sort of verification that they will sell on there, which I think is plausible because EA is a company all about money. Love them or hate them, that's what they do. Um, and I think Nintendo realizes that yes, EA does kind of suck, but they are a good partner to have. They have the Star Wars license, as you saw with Battlefront. They have,
What a
they have a
wonderful
lot of,
game.
they have, I mean, fuck Battlefront, but they have a lot of major
Yeah, you
IP
can say that again.
and they have a lot of resources. So, how can Nintendo ensure that the sports games sell on the NX from EA? It's very very simple, and it's something I have talked about before. Amiibo. You give me NBA Live, even though it's a dookie ass series compared to 2K. 2K has gotten stagnant, in my opinion. You give me NBA Live and you give me a Charlotte Hornet Amiibo, I'm buying it. I will buy the Charlotte Hornet Amiibo. Why? Because it's my favorite basketball team. You just make limited releases in each region for each basketball team. You for your Knicks, your
What would a
Bulls, your Lakers, you have of course more output, and then for your smaller market teams you have less of an output. You just put some stupid gimmick with it, but you make a high quality amiibo, you sell it for $12. I'm fucking buying it. I
what?
love the Hornets, I love the NBA. Same thing with Madden, same thing with FIFA. It's a no-brainer.
So what? When you're saying amiibo of the teams, so this would be the team logo would be rendered into a 3D
Like
amiibo?
a little
No, you would
cartoon
use the
mascot.
mascot. Yeah,
Yeah, a
you'd
little
Oh,
use the
the
cartoon
mask.
mascot.
Okay.
That's what I
I'm
was
I'm
thinking.
not a sport guy, obviously.
Yeah.
I wonder, like, do you think that the type of guy who goes for the sports game, like the usual demographic, would be the kind to buy a Nintendo console at this late in the game, though?
I don't think so.
Depends. It depends if they can offer something to make it worthwhile. Because basically, if Nintendo plays their cards right, and if a tenth of the rumors are true, you're basically going to have a system that can appeal to everyone, from your kids who want to play the more kiddie friendly games
Mm-hmm.
to the older market, and the technologically savvy market. So you have to include an incentive. And if there's one thing that Nintendo has really nailed lately, it's been the stupid amiibo, and
Oh, for sure.
everyone wants the amiibo. So if you have like a kid and they're like, "Oh, well, I don't really care about the game. I just want the amiibo and I want to watch daddy play." And it's like, "All right, I'll pick up the Nintendo version and get the little toy, and maybe it'll have some interesting feature, especially if it's going to be a hybrid console and I could play that same thing on the go." I mean, it might work. It's definitely an uphill battle. Nintendo will definitely have to market the shit out of the games. See, Nintendo could have done that with the Wii U when Reggie came out and said, the best way to play Call of Duty is going to be on the Wii U. When it was just the PS3 and the Xbox 360, he wasn't necessarily wrong. I thought that Black Ops 2 was best on the Wii U. I played the 360 version. I did not play the PS3 version, but I played the Wii U version, and I enjoyed the Wii U version the most. I thought it had better colors, and I enjoyed all the gamepad stuff. The problem is that they did not market it as that. If Nintendo would have came out with a marketing campaign that said, "You want to play Black Ops 2? The best way to play it is on the Wii U," showed some gameplay, showed why the gamepad made sense, it would have sold a fuck of a lot better. But they didn't do that because they didn't think that it was needed. They thought that the system would just sell itself, similar to how the Wii did. Now, if they come out and say, "Oh, you want to play Madden? You need to play it on the Wii U. You get this amiibo, you get this other cool shit. You can do this, you can do this, you can do this on the go." It'll sell like fucking hotcakes. The thing is, Nintendo has to basically take a page out of Sony's playbook and market the shit out of it. Television. Nintendo thinks that television is a dead medium. While yes, it sort of is a dead medium, there's still a large contingency of middle class America who doesn't understand the whole internet age, who doesn't understand the whole digital age that a lot of us understand that are more computer savvy, that still rely on television. That's the market you need to try to go for, is that lower middle class segment who's buying the sports games every year. Because if you can market it and say, hey, you want to play Madden, you want to play FIFA, you want to play NBA Live, this is the best way to play it, you're going to sell systems. You're going to sell systems.
They also have to, like you said, they have an uphill battle. Not only do they need a good marketing strategy to actually say, like, this is why you need to play it on the NX or whatever, they also need to sell it on, hey, it's actually cool to play Nintendo. Because they've got, like, 10 years of hate to fight off where people will, like, why was the PS4 selling so well? Oh, because everyone else is buying it. That's the best system you want, the PS4. Like, were people actually making, I don't know. There was the whole, oh, it's more powerful, but no one stops and thinks, hey, wait a minute, am I enjoying my games more because it's more powerful? Like, does more powerful equal more enjoyment out of the gameplay?
Couple
No.
more polygons, a little less aliasing. That's not gonna, there's what's the expression? Diminishing returns when it comes to the technology of like graphics and games, right? Like it's get to a point that the increments that you get from like improving the hardware are very little. So saying that it's gonna be like a more powerful machine, that only goes so far. One question I have regarding the sports games specifically is that I'm not sure with the Wii U to play, because do we still have the whole friends code thing to play online with the Wii U? Like, how does that work?
You have Nintendo ID.
Yeah, which is going to be superseded very soon by the My Nintendo network.
Right, but it's going to be kind of like a gamer tag type system. It's not like the friend code thing anymore. Okay, so that solves one of the bigger things, because I didn't play with the U that much, so I wasn't sure. I did see on the live stream here, I see the NNID and I saw the name, and I guess I didn't connect that. That's now how it's done. That I think is one of the best things that you could do in that regard, because I've tried playing online with the Wii and with the DS, the 3DS, and that whole, I think it defeats the purpose of having an online network almost when you make it that. I was trying to play Mario Kart with a buddy of mine, and it felt like I was like filling out paperwork and like sending this this code back and forth, and it never connected. It was a pain in the ass, and I cannot see. I mean, obviously it's there's going to be more gamer tag ish way to connect with people, like with their profiles and stuff like that. Because if there wasn't something like that, I don't see people choosing that console for playing sports games, because the online experience is the main thing in the appreciation of those games. Like so many games, right? I wouldn't pick up, but that's the thing. Do people know this? Because my experience from playing online with Nintendo systems are like, oh, this is a fucking hassle. Just add my gamer tag on like on Xbox or my name on PSN, and this is a much easier way to like connect to each other and like actually play these games online. I wonder if people are going to remember Nintendo's online offerings from those experiences. Maybe people who skipped the Wii U, and as we know, comparing how much the Wii sold versus how much the Wii U sold, quite a few people skipped the Wii U. How much of that will stick in people's memory and make them like, oh, playing online on a fucking Nintendo console? No, thanks. I'll stick with PSN. You know what I mean?
Well, they're going to have that new marketing edge where, Mitomo's coming out next month. There's going to be more and more social apps coming out that integrates you into the Nintendo account without you even really having to be a Nintendo fan or a Nintendo console owner. So they can quickly ramp up their numbers into who's in my Nintendo. And then when the NX comes out, it's like, hey, by the way, you love playing all these games on your phone. You've already got an account. Just log into this new console, buy it, and play all these amazing games with your friends. And that's one way. Like maybe the hardcore audience will still be tainted by the 10 years of Nintendo. Like I was saying, the uphill battle Nintendo has to go fight for, that Nintendo consoles are just old, archaic, and that's not where gamers go. Yeah, maybe the hardcore audience won't get it, but I think they might have an easier time with the casual audience to get them over to the NX or whatever. And
we're on the casual audience. They work really well for the Wii, but not so much anymore, right? Like if they want to hit this out of the park, they're going to have to make it enticing for the hardcore players, more so than the casuals. I think now I would even argue, because they've cornered the casual market for all it was worth and worked really well with the Wii, not so much with the Wii U.
Yeah, I agree. And you even see other attempts at getting the casual markets on the other platforms. With the revival of Guitar Hero, that is obviously a game catered more towards casual, and it flopped. The most recent Guitar Hero Live, right?
How did you like Guitar Hero Live?
I didn't play it.
You didn't play it?
I didn't care
I
for it.
actually thought it was really cool. I didn't buy it. I wouldn't buy it myself. I've had too many Guitar Heroes. I actually
Exactly.
it came to a point. I gave away my drum set from Rock Band, my guitars from Rock Band, my guitars from Guitar Hero because I was just so fed up with the game. And game stores, if you ever tried to exchange that stuff, they were also getting that shit back like a dump. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like people were just bringing them. They weren't even offering store credit anywhere you go. People are just dropping them by like literally coming in and
Yeah, they
dropping by
just
the
want to get
counter.
rid
Did
of them.
exactly what I did with mine. And I play Guitar Hero. I was at my dad's house, and my siblings were playing. I have younger brothers, and they were playing Guitar Hero Live, and I really enjoyed. I'm not sure if you saw the new gimmick,
No.
how it's like it's a real like instead of like seeing when you see the stage and like people playing with you in the band, it's no longer like just CG. It's like actual footage of like a concert that they went someplace and shot with a bunch of extras in a band, and the people who are playing with you, your band and the crowd responds to how well or how poorly you're playing. So if you're playing really well, the crowd starts getting amped up and they hold up signs with your name on it and whatever. And the band is like giving you like high fives and like, like way to go. And if you're screwing up, the camera like it's like a first person view kind of thing. So you pan to the side and you see like the drummer going like, what the fuck, dude? Back to and they're like booing you. And if you start screwing up even more, they start rushing the stage. And because it's like a first person view and because it's like actual like live footage, it's very interesting how much immersion that actually like you feel bad like when the crowd starts booing and throwing things at you,
Hmm.
even though it's a scene on a TV, because it's like a first person view, it's emulating kind of like your head movements. If you play on a large enough screen, you really feel part of the experience. It's like something else. I recommend you at least try it.
I wonder if they were planning to match it with virtual reality then.
That would be incredible, I think, and it would
Well,
work really well.
that's what Harmonix showed off with Rock Band, and then it looked, I don't know, virtual reality's dumb as shit.
I have hopes, man. I have hopes. I know it's probably gonna blow up in my face, but because like I was just saying, we can only go so far. Like in regards to graphics, right? Like the jump from like second generation to third and third to fourth, those were big changes. Like when you compare like a Master System game with a Sega Genesis game and then a Dreamcast game, like there's a big difference. There's a big jump. Super Nintendo 64, but now you see like a PlayStation 3 game and a PlayStation 4 game. The textures are a little bit more crisp. There's a little less aliasing, and the frame rate is a little bit better. But overall, the difference between the two is narrowing ever. Like it's always becoming more narrow, and it's gonna get to the point that there's only so much you can do to increase that immersion via the realism of the graphics. So when that happens, where do we go from there? Like obviously there's other things that we can focus on, gameplay and other features, but are we okay with always having that barrier between ourselves and the game, or do we want a little bit more? Do we want to be quote unquote in the game? Virtual reality is really the only way we go from here.
I think it's a whole different segment. You're going to have virtual reality could branch off and do its own thing. I don't think it's going to be mainstream. I think it's going to be niche, just like gaming has become so broad nowadays. You have different types of gaming. You have the retro, you have the competitives, you have, uh, I could segment it in a few other ways. And I think that's what virtual reality is going to do. It's going to hit market. You're going to find an audience. It's going to stick around. It's probably going to do amazing in the porn industry. It's probably going to be amazing where you have these VR hotels where you can actually go. Because one of the things with VR is once you put that on, you got to be sure no one's messing with you in the real world. So I could see VR hotels where you book a room, you can do whatever you want in there, and it's safe because you lock yourself in a room and no one can interact with you.
Mhm.
Where was I going with
It's
What,
that?
kind of
what
like
are you
motion
talking
controls.
about?
That's what you're basically saying. Like motion controls, they tried it and it didn't work for. I mean, it had a space, but they couldn't really bring that into say like a GTA or like a Call of Duty, right? That's what you're saying basically.
Um,
It's not for longevity.
right,
No
like
one, you're not. I could I've sat on a couch this weekend or in my chair and played Twilight Princess for hours and hours and hours. I'm not going to do that with a headset on because A, I don't know what's going on around me. I can't check my phone. I can't check my email. I can't do this. I can't do that. B, it's going to be a weight on your head. It's eventually going to give you headaches. It's eventually going to cause you motion sickness. C, there's still a large contingency of people we had Tillman on the show and a couple months back, and he had an Oculus Rift dev kit, and he was saying that he could play it for about an hour or so, and that was his max. His sister could play it for about 5 minutes, and then she'd get sick on her stomach. I don't see that as replacing a controller. I don't ever see it replacing a controller. And I don't understand why people think. I think the VR aspect is going to be more important in terms of entertainment as far as movies and experiences go. I don't think it's going to be as relevant in gaming.
Right.
Hmm.
And also, if you compare it to another industry, the movie industry, which we also often compare video games, like, movies were evolving with, oh, look, we're adding colors, now we're adding special effects, now we've got 3D animation in it. And film has kind of reached to a point where, okay, we've seen all the gimmicks, we've seen all the new features you can add, but you don't need more to make a good film. You can still tell a good story, you can still use different angles and stuff. So I feel that, our tool set for making games has really grown over the last 30 years with the evolution of technology. But I feel now our tool set is 98% complete, 99%. And let's think about how do we use this tool set to make new games? How do we tell new interactive stories? How do we make people feel different things? And I don't necessarily think you need more power, you need more realism. You can make fantastic, fun games, immersive games with what's available today.
Agreed.
That makes sense. I'm just hopeful. I just love the technology. Even though the experiences I've had with like Oculus Rift were pretty subpar. Like I played some tech demo at a comic convention here in Calgary, and I was pretty underwhelmed by it. But I was like, I could see me. I could see myself finding games that I'd really enjoy to play in this in this format. I do agree with you. That's definitely not. That's why I made the motion controls comparison, because when the Wii came out, then Sony and Nintendo were kind of pushing to make their own kind of motion controls thing, but obviously that didn't work. They remember when they were trying to like shoehorn 6-axis stuff into like regular games.
Yes.
And I agree with you. That's if they try to like, we're not gonna play like you were saying, like a hardcore 6+ hour experience with a headset on our heads, right? Like that's insane. So I do agree with you. I think there's gonna be. I just hope there is a niche for this. I hope that it finds certain games. There are successful in that using that kind of technology. I just want to play VR games. There's certain games that I think would really benefit a lot from that kind of way to experience them.
I agree with you. I tried VR in it was also a tech demo, sort of. Anyway, early phase to a game. You were basically in a space station and you were exploring around the space station. It was really, really immersive and addictive. When I took that VR headset off, I want to go right back into that world, and that's where I saw, oh wow, like this is a simple tech demo. It wasn't that interesting in that space station, but I was still really addicted and wanted to go back into it. So imagine something that's really polished off and that offers you something unimaginable that you've always wanted in your life to experience and you can't, and now you just put this on and you got it. Like I think it's gonna, it has the potential of becoming a huge social problem because of how addictive it can be of what it can offer.
Porn.
Oh yeah, porn's gonna do really well with this. That's there's no question there. What with those 360-degree cameras, right? Like those two are made to, the porn industry, 360-degree cameras and VR headsets. Boom, somebody's gonna be a billionaire.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, so we are running a little bit later than usual, but that's fine because when we have a guest, it's always fun to get a little bit more insight into who they are, what they're about, what they like, and getting their opinions, aside from just getting Shawn and my own. But now at this segment, we always move into the Nintendo fan highlights. So Shawn and I take turns every week now, and we highlight a Nintendo fan in the community. So this week I'm highlighting an artist. You can find her over on DeviantArt, and her name is Renee Campbell. Renee Campbell Art is her username. And she makes some pretty sweet, realistic Pokemon drawings. So I'm going to toss this up here on the screen. Shawn and Izzy, you guys won't see it in the chat.
I'm checking it out already here on Google. Let's see, Renee Campbell. There's quite a few. I found
Okay.
a bodybuilder. I don't think that's the one.
No, no, it's a girl. So,
All right, okay,
so
there
I'm
we go.
showcasing. I'm going to be showing you guys three pictures here of her. This one is the evolution of Furkin, if I remember my Pokemons right. All three levels. Then I've got another one here of Charizard, which is which is a fan favorite and just looks really, really sick. And where's the third one? Oh, this was one of my favorite Pokemons growing up, and I'm probably gonna pronounce it wrong because I pronounce Scythe wrong apparently today on Nintendo and 90. So
You
I don't
did.
know. I don't know if it's Scyther or Scyther anymore. How would you guys
No,
pronounce it?
I always said Scyther. Is it not Scyther?
It's probably Scyther because I've always said Scyther, and that's probably terribly wrong.
I always said Scyther because I thought it was supposed to be like branching off of a scythe, right? Like his arms and
The
stuff.
scythe. Yeah, I only learned today that that's how you pronounce that tool.
So you always said Scyther?
Well, I never really talked about it much out loud to people. I never had a conversation where I had to say his name much, so it was always in my head.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
But today I had to say the word scythe. Like there was a game that
That's what I
uses
always
scythe,
thought. Yeah.
and I called it a scythe today, and I got called out by it for it. So she has a bunch more Pokemon, realistic Pokemon on her DeviantArt page, so
That's
do check it
cool.
out. Renee Campbell Art, that's two L's in Campbell. Go support her, say we sent you there. And if you have a
Let
Nintendo
me know.
fan, if you have a Nintendo fan that you would like to highlight on this show, send it to Shawn or myself, and if we like it, we'll put it up.
Or if you yourself are a Nintendo fan.
Of course. And it doesn't have to be art. It can be, we also do cover artists, anything really. If you do,
Sketch comedy.
sure,
It's kind of,
Nintendo sketch comedy, we will feature you. Anything
Haven't
Nintendo.
seen it yet. Here's an idea for you guys.
we're dabbling in it.
I actually kind of created, I wasn't in it, but I kind of influenced the creation of a Nintendo improv troupe, which
Really?
it lasted two shows and then it disbanded. But
You did good.
You gotta leave in your head. They did it right.
they what, sorry?
You gotta leave when you're ahead, right? You gotta. That's
Yeah,
what
yeah,
that's what
exactly.
they did it right.
Nah, it was supposed to be, I don't know if you've heard of our event, EGLX, coming to Toronto and end of April. We're putting that on. We were putting a smaller one like a year ago, and I knew these improv people. I was like, oh, it'd be cool if you guys can make a Nintendo show for that event. And yeah, they put one together. They trained for like a month or two, and they weren't too, not many of them were gamers. So I was like, all right, here are some like inside jokes in the universe. So like they included the chicken from the Zelda universe, and it was a little fun time.
Right on.
At Bowser's gym, that they were pumping up some Stardust into their muscles and all that. So. All right, and now the final segment of the show. This is the lightning round, which really is a terrible name for this segment. But this is where we take your questions from the chat room, try to interact with you guys a little bit more. So if you have any questions or topics you would like any of us to answer or talk about, now is your time to toss it up. And since Izzy is our special guest, I do encourage you guys to ask him anything you like, or if you want to know his opinion on anything, like what his favorite soda is, or anything at all.
I had to quit soda, man. It's
You did
killing
quit?
me.
I
I
also
quit
quit it.
soda. I'm sticking with water now. Apparently, you know why? I want to see us get to Mars, and I think that if my love of Sprites and carbonated beverages in general prevents me from seeing that, I think I'm gonna have to, somebody's got to give. So I've recently quit the pop or soda for Shawn.
Yeah, that's why I said soda. Our viewers are mostly
Yeah, I know that now.
American.
Yeah,
Otherwise, I'd call it pop, but they're like,
what
"What?
the fuck is pop?
What are you drinking?" How long have you quit? Roughly.
For a while, I think close to 2 months now, or if not more.
Okay,
It's
fairly
funny because
recent.
when you quit pop and you finally have a sip because you just wanted a little bit of that flavor sometimes with a meal,
Yeah.
it's a lot stronger than you remember, and it makes it easier to stay away. So
Hmm.
yeah, Nate here, I see Nate the great name. Ask favorite game is it fluctuates a bit. I think my overall all time, the one that I logged the most hours on, the one that it's just like one of those the greatest Heroes of Might and Magic, an old PC game that I bought in 1998 and I play almost daily to this day, believe it or not.
What is it?
Wow.
Might and Magic?
Heroes of Might and Magic.
The
It's an old
first
school.
one? Yeah, I
2-bit
loved it.
game.
I used to play
Oh my
Heroes of Might and
god!
Magic 2 a lot.
Yes, 2 was one of my favorites. 3, I think, is the overall best in the series, like by most fans. And it's one of those games. It's one of those like infinite replay value games. You can play it forever. I have it on my iPad. I have it on my computer, my Mac. It's just, not only it has great gameplay. I played it so much when I was a kid that when I sit down to play that game, you get that wave of nostalgia. Like it's just great.
It was so good. It had a nice soundtrack that you could just like easily play it, and
Absolutely.
my
And
God.
mind you, like I said at the top of the show, I'm not even a big fantasy guy, right? And
Yeah.
Heroes of Might and Magic is a fantasy and has those RPG elements that normally I'm not a huge fan, but even then, when gameplay is that good, you just, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Gotta get
Yeah,
those
that's
Black Dragons. Remember? Oh no, it was the
oh,
Angels in Heroes 3 that were
you
more important.
You
All
have
right.
it. Yeah.
Do you think Metroid will be getting a celebration this year? Asks Prince Baylor.
No, no.
Whatever
Metroid,
happened to Metroid, man?
it's the bastard child of Nintendo.
Have
They
they
don't know
just
what to
given
do.
up entirely, or like what's the deal?
They don't really know what to do with it.
Well, they have
But
Federation Force. That's the next Metroid game. You've heard of it, right?
how long? When was the last one? The Other M, was that the last one?
Other M was the last one.
And
Yeah,
that was how long ago?
2010, I think.
yeah.
Was
No,
I know people didn't like the Other M that much, but why? Just that's so weird.
I
Well,
liked it.
it did a lot of things. I felt the gameplay was amazing, but then you have those that were huge fans of the Metroid lore, and Other M kind of just turned Samus's character a little bit against. I guess it went against a lot of what the lore had already built up, and that's what a lot of fans didn't like.
Mhm.
And you
Yeah,
also
very.
go from Metroid Prime, that kind of gameplay, to Metroid Other M. It's a big change.
Okay. We have to. We're lightning. Lightning. Nintendo NX backwards compatibility or no? Yes.
Yes.
Favorite GameCube games. Um,
Resident Evil 4.
no, I liked it better on the Wii.
Fair
Second
enough.
Sight. Second Sight's a very underrated game. And I like Geist a lot as well.
Nicolas Cortez asked, "Do you think the NX will succeed?" Personally, I'm skeptical. I don't think, like Jason was saying, they have an uphill battle with the 10 years of kind of ill will from hardcore gamers. I honestly don't think it'll do as well as they want it to do. I hope it'll be better than the Wii U at least, but that's not, that shouldn't be too hard.
I think it has potential, but it's not an easy win.
What are your thoughts on Super Metal Dave's rumors on the NX? I talked about those last week. I think it's baseless. Shots fired. Bang, bang.
There you
Never
go.
know.
You just lightninged your way through all the questions too fast. Good job.
No, no, there's a ton more.
Do you think we
What
will
do you
get Star Fox Zero early this year?
no, or what do you guys think of Star Fox Zero? Will it be good?
I
I
hope
was never a
so.
huge fan of Star Fox. I haven't played one in a while, so I'm not the best person to ask that. I was trying to play the Super Nintendo one recently, and talk about a game that aged horribly.
Which
Agreed.
one? Which one?
The first one, the Super Nintendo one.
Really?
Oh, it aged. Oh, Jesus Christ, man.
I'll have to
The
pick it up.
Nintendo, the Super Nintendo was not for a great system. Do not get me wrong, one of my favorite of all time. But the FX chip, I think it was the FX chip that they used for that, right? For
Right.
the
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
yeah, the FX chip was great for things like Mode 7, 3D quote unquote rotation. Like on Yoshi Island, it was used beautifully, but I think they pushed it a little bit too much. 3D was not really what it was meant to do at all, and it shows like you wouldn't believe nowadays. Try playing it nowadays. Even it's a great title, right? Like it was pushing the envelope for what the Super Nintendo could do.
Yep.
But playing it now, even with the benefit of, like, it's been some, close to
Are
20
you
years or
ta-
so.
are you talking graphics or the gameplay is bad or both?
Both.
Graphics,
Well, maybe
gameplay,
both
I can't
because
complain too much because there's only so much you can do with like that. That's not a game that should be played on a D-pad. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't work that well.
Right.
But the graphics really are just hard to look at.
Okay.
what if the NX fails? I guess Nintendo's fucked.
What about the 3DS? They still that'll work still, right, for them?
No, that's been declining in sales too. They're
I guess everybody that wanted one already has one, right?
yeah,
Yeah. Go ahead.
just the DS is it's running at the end of its lifespan. Like the DS family is, I don't know, they need to revive it somehow.
I mean, they have sold over 55 million now.
The
Yeah,
3DS?
it's
Yeah.
sold well. It's selling
That's
well,
decent.
but it's on the like year after year they're selling less and less. They need to whoop. And they're putting out great software for it too. I'm not
They
hating
need
on it.
they need to whoop. Jason Lapine, 2016.
Did I just say that? They need to
You
whoop.
were like, they need to whoop. I didn't really know where you're going with that. Do you think Twilight Princess HD is worth the $60? Well, technically, it's only $50 unless you buy the Wolf Link amiibo, which I don't really care about. The Cave of Ordeals is interesting, but not a real deal breaker. Other than that, yes.
What else we got here?
F-Zero on the NX.
No.
F-Zero, my God, that is a name I haven't heard in a long time.
Another reason for you to get the Wii U, you should try the F-Zero courses on Mario Kart 8. They're good
Oh, they are
times.
great.
Really? I
They
gotta
are
I gotta
fun.
YouTube this and taking a
There's
look.
two of
You know
them.
what? You're kind of selling $300, eh? With Smash Brothers, you say,
And Splatoon.
and Splatoon. Okay.
Actually, you can also get a Mario Kart 8 with all the DLC bundles. So you got some options. You can go Smash Splat, or you can go Mario Kart 8 with all the DLC, which includes the two F-Zero courses.
I will 100% own the Wii U solely because of Super Mario. Super Mario World was one of the like those what do you call it, character building games for me. I just absolutely love the game, and Super Mario Maker for somebody who loves the game, like it's just a must have. I just haven't had that that pressing desperation to get it, but I will for sure. And with Splatoon, shit,
Yeah, you got 6 million courses to play, man, on Mario
6 million
Maker. You
courses.
got
Yeah,
some catching up to do.
no kidding. Predictions on NX launch price 300 ish,
Yeah,
350.
that's got to be the 300 to 350. Any higher, and
It's yeah,
It's
no,
dead in
it's
the water.
shooting themselves. Yeah, for sure, absolutely. I think history, like the history of video games, they've like time and time again they've shown that the games that these systems launching at a price that these companies think that the gamers are willing to pay, it doesn't pan out.
Like
I
the
remember,
PS3.
yeah, who was it that said, was it Kazurai that said that gamers will just get another job?
Someone said
Was it?
that?
You didn't know that? I
No.
can't remember if it was Kaz Hirai. It's in here. PS3, get another job. Somebody said Ken Kutaragi, I think, said no for real. Ken Kutaragi, yeah, Ken Kutaragi said that for consumers to think they priced the PS3 is thinking quote for consumers to think to themselves, I will work more hours to buy one. We want people to feel they want it, irrespective of anything else. In other words, get another job.
Wow. You know what's
So
crazy
yeah,
though when you really think of it? A console is one of the cheapest pieces of technology we all have. Like our phones, most of us are worth more than our consoles.
oh, absolutely. Your phone is worth more than your computer. These plans have made us think that phones are way cheaper than they are. Try buying a plan outside of a contract, like unlocked, and you'll see what phones actually cost.
Yeah, they're like $900 here in Canada.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
It's pretty pricey. Yeah, consoles for the entertainment you get, you're right. They're
well, I was thinking just like if you compare a phone to a 3DS, I'm like, oh, okay, a 3DS, $200, a phone, $800. Okay, I got a million shitty games, but 3DS, like, oh, such good quality games.
triple A titles, right? Triple A experiences.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
Whoop experiences, as I will dub
Whoop
them now,
experience.
oh god,
Trademark
don't please,
2016.
worth
please
10 ice cream sandwiches. 10 out of
Now I
10
need
ice
one.
cream.
10 out of 10 ice cream sandwiches.
Yep. Which Nintendo franchise would you like to have the Lego treatment?
none.
Hey, what do you have against Lego?
I'm tired of the Lego games.
Tired.
Shawn lost his soul when he hit 30.
No, I just don't care. I never liked the Lego games.
You never liked the Lego games?
I mean, initially I did,
He
but
lost
now
There
his
you
it's
go.
soul.
just
There you go. There's some soul left in him.
Lego Batman, Lego Indiana Jones, Lego Star Wars, Lego Jurassic Park, Lego My Ego. It's like fuck. Stop it.
Lego my egg.
Legless Legolas with a Lego. Lego legless Legolas. Have you seen that meme?
No.
It's cool. It shows like a Lego Legolas. I was like, here is Lego Legolas. Legless Lego Legolas. Legless Lego Legolas holding a Lego, and it's a fun play on words.
It's like it's
Somebody-
Legolas all the way down.
Yeah.
Pushmo or Box Boy? That's Nintendo.
Pushmo.
Have you?
Pushmo.
Yes, I've played both. I think I reviewed both actually.
Hmm.
How long you think Nintendo to do new IPs on the NX? 2 years.
You know, we never answered the Lego franchise. I would love to see a Zelda Lego personally. I think
Oh
it
my
might. I think
God.
it
I
might
don't think
hurt
that's
the.
happening.
I think it would hurt the Zelda franchise. Don't get me wrong, but I think it would still be cool to play a Lego Zelda game.
Just go away.
I think they're too protective of those kinds of IPs. I don't think we'll ever see like it. That's to me. That's like suggesting it like a Lego Pokemon. I don't think that's ever happening.
I would see it working with Pokemon.
You think?
If
I don't know, man. I think Nintendo is really protective of that shit.
out of like the protective IPs, I feel Pokemon is the one that like can get shoved under the bus into Legoland the easiest.
I
Stop.
don't know. It would work. I think it's great. Don't get me wrong. I think it's great cross promotion for the brands. I think the demographics, you know what I mean? They work together. Like the people, the kids who like Lego, and the adults, for that matter, who like Lego, are also the adults who like Pokemon. But I just don't see Nintendo allowing that. I think I see they're just too protective of that IP. I think they wouldn't want to dilute it like that. I mean, the fact that they don't do a lot of spin-offs of Pokemon, I think to me that shows that they're holding that close to the chest. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
Maybe.
I don't know. It would be nice. Don't get me wrong. I think it would be very cute to have like a little Lego Charmander or something. But I don't think Nintendo would play nice with other people with their toys like that.
It would be amazing, I think.
Zelda
Like I
Lego. They
feel the
like Lego.
Pokemon universe is the least sacred out of all the
You
big,
think?
out of the big franchises. Sacred. Like yeah, I think you can legalize Pokemon.
Legalize. That's a verb now. That's a thing.
Yep, it is. Look at that. Cat's joined the
Lego
podcast.
Star Fox.
No. You wouldn't
What
really
else?
gain. You wouldn't really gain Lego Donkey Kong, Lego Samus, Lego Metroid, like Lego Mario. Like
Lego Mario. See, that's the thing. You would think that it would exist already. They've legalized everything else. It looks to me that Lego only really works with franchises that are sort of outside of video games. You know what I mean? Like they can Lego Avengers, they can Lego Jurassic Park, they can Lego Harry Potter, mostly movies. If you see, they don't Lego other games so much. Am I wrong here?
no.
Have
I
they
mean,
Lego a franchise
Lego,
that was video game?
not really. It's mostly
It's
movies.
it's mostly movie IPs, right? So there you go.
Yep. All right. We'll Lego the Lego topic. All right. Any other? Oh yeah, you have to write a review. I have to do the
Yeah.
freaking video review
Yeah,
for
and
that.
and I have to narrate it.
Oh, poor you. Shouldn't have taken that nap this afternoon.
I didn't take a nap this afternoon. Actually, I was busy doing work.
That's why he's so grumpy. He didn't have his afternoon nap.
Didn't have his
Yeah.
nap. Yep, it all makes sense now.
Yep. All right. So we're going to wrap it up, guys. Thank you all so much for joining us here on Class vs. Crass, your Nintendo podcast, whatever you want. Put an adjective in there. We're going to be back next week. Shawn and I, maybe a guest, who knows. Before we sign off, where can we find all the good stuff? Izzy, where should people go to find more of you?
Yes, if you're not annoyed by my voice yet, you can find more of me at if you type the Izzy Nobre Show on YouTube, you'll find my channel. I'm also on Twitter, who isn't these days, at Mr. Nobre, so MRNOBRE. I'm always there talking about whatever. And yeah, that's what I do. I have some other stuff here, but that should do it. That should be enough Izzy for most of you for now. I think that's the trial package. You know what I mean?
Nice. And then you can bump it up.
Some
If you like
IPs,
it.
you know what I'm saying? Yeah, let's EA this shit.
Great. Good stuff. Shawn, where can we find more of you?
Okay, so you can find me here at Retro Gaming Tube 85, doing retro stuff whenever I feel like it. Make sure you subscribe to that channel. Oh, Jesus Lord. I have the Wind Waker. Twilight Princess HD review will be up whenever embargo lifts on the 1st, which is Tuesday. I got to double check the time. We'll also have a video review for that. You can catch me on that YT show giving my Netflix picks for the month of March 2016. You can find me on Twitter at ShawnLong85. You can find me on NintendoEnthusiast.com, of course, and pretty much everywhere. Anywhere you look, I am there.
Unfortunately, that's the reality of the world we live in today. As for myself, I'll be putting up some video reviews for Nintendo Enthusiasts. We've got Twilight Princess coming. I think I'm going to do some Fire Emblem video reviews because while we did do the written one, we didn't do the video one, and some people want to see some video. So we're going to do that. Those are my videos. You're going to see me again, Nintendo 90 next week. Probably another skit, a Shawn and Jason skit the week after, maybe this week if we're happy. And you can always find some work that I'm involved with over at Rerez, where we cover some cool retro and obscure, not necessarily retro, but obscure video game artifacts. I'm not on that show. It's all Shane Lewis, who speaks better than I can. But yeah, cool shows, and I support him, and I help him with that. So we'll see you guys next week, and until then, keep it classy, or as Shawn would always say,
Keep it crassy.
see ya. And now
Right
I play.
on.
Hang on, we're still live.
Ah!
He plays music.